Oh, well. Thank you, James, for the little cue that hopefully nobody out there heard, or was it the wrong clip we showed at the beginning? I don't know. But anyway, everybody,
Wrong
welcome.
introduction. Sorry.
Yeah, well, welcome to the show. This, in case you're wondering, is Inworld Review, not whatever the other introduction was. But maybe you didn't see it, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so my name is Mal Bones, and I'm your host, or your primary host anyway. To my left, yeah, do it the other way this week. My co-host, wonderful co-host, also host of Safari and so many other things, Thirza Ember. Welcome, Thirza.
It's
It's
crazy because
crazy
it's
because it's
live, so
live,
that's a
so
good
that's a
thing,
good thing,
guys.
guys.
Yes, we're
Yes, we're
crazy, and I'm
crazy, and
very
I'm very
happy
happy
to be
to
here
be here
today,
today,
Mal.
Mal.
Thanks
Once
once again for doing the show.
Wonderful. And reversing the order this week, on my right-hand side, still in the same position, but I've changed the order, if you see what I mean. It's James Atlloud, who is the forever sitter. That's a good name for an avatar, the forever sitter.
Sure.
But more importantly, he's a knob fiddler. Yes, he fiddles with video knobs and audio knobs, and I don't know how many other knobs he's got around. But anyways, the knob fiddler, the prime. Never mind. Anyway, he's audio tech producer and stuff like that. So welcome, James.
Hi, Mal. Yep, glad to be here. Sorry about the opening mistake. We'll have to fix it in post.
Right. Okay, well, that's fine. And that's about it. So where are you? What all you guys out there are saying? You know, what is this I've tuned into? It's a bit odd. Is it a cartoon, or is them people, or what is it? What is it? Well,
And when you find out, tell us, because we don't know.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, we look at the people and the places and art on, I should say, really, the hypergrid. What is the hypergrid? Well, the hypergrid is a network of virtual worlds. They're all interlinked, courtesy of the hypergrid. And they all run individually on some variation of open simulator software. If you've ever heard of Second Life, it's a bit like that, except that it's a network of hundreds, maybe even thousands, nobody knows for sure, of individual grids, where Second Life is just one grid that happens to be big and behind the wall gardens. But there we go. Right, so that's explained that, hasn't it, I think? That's our general focus. So we also have two guests with us today who come from one particular grid on the hypergrid. We have Gabe Collingwood. Welcome, Gabe.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
And we have Huga Bug. Yes, Huga Bug. Hello, Huga Bug. Hi.
Thank you, Mel, for having us.
Oh, I think you're a long way from your microphone. You sound like you're at the other end of the room. I'm sure you can fix that. We'll be coming back to you a little bit later. Both Hugaberg and Gabe come from a grid called Barefoot Dreamers. Yes, that's a lovely name, isn't it? Barefoot Dreamers. Is it? Oh, yeah. I think it's Patti Smith has a wonderful song called Dancing Barefoot. I don't know why. Whenever I see the word barefoot, I think of, if it's not Sandy Shaw in the 60s, it's Patti Smith Dancing Barefoot. Anyway, that has nothing to do with us whatsoever. Okay, well, as usual, we're going to start the show with Thurza's little roundup of what's actually happening on the hypergrid. And so it's over to Thurza for hypergrid happenings.
Yes, and welcome. It's once again hypergrid happenings. It's a quieter week this week. I think everybody's trying to recover from the carnival and the cornflakes week events that we've had in February, and they are bracing themselves, of course, for St. Patrick's Day, which is coming up in March, which is always a very big deal here in opensim. So there are, though, a few things that I'd really like to mention. First of all, this one over on Trianon Grid, Essential put this up, and it's her grand opening of a new store with clothes. It's going to be tomorrow at 4 o'clock Second Life time. So little bit later than, I guess, 4 hours from now, basically. And that's Monday, the 4th of March. And you go over to Vesti, the region on Trianon World Grid. And there's the address up there. So loads of new
Oh,
stuff
can
and a
I
beautiful new sim to take a
can
look
I
at.
can I just interrupt you, Theza? I
Sure.
noticed the port number on that poster is 1802. Is 5 digits long, 18002.
Oh, you're right. Yes, we'll fix that in the comments. But well, I'm not sure it is wrong actually. I'll double check because there's quite a lot of grids coming out now. You made a good point. There's quite a lot of grids coming out with a fifth number in their port. So there's 58002 and 48002 are quite common these days. But I will double check it and make sure that it's right. And if it's in either case, we can put it in the comments. But thanks for pointing that out. Another thing that's coming is, of course, the season finale of the safari, which is on Wednesday. That's our group tourist event where we go to 2 different places in the hypergrid. This week we're going to 2 grids. One is the first time we've ever visited. It's Sharing is Caring. And the other one, we have actually been there a while back. I bet Mal will remember because it's we went to the Welsh build.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember? Yeah, coming back. And this time instead we're going to Grand Place, which is the, well, I want to say Belgian themed because it sort of is, but it sort of isn't. Anyway, we're going to meet the owner of Speculous Grid, who is Belgian, but actually lives in the Caribbean somewhere. So he's got this incredible, strange build, which is a little bit hurricane and a little bit Belgian waffle. I'm just going to say that. So bring your chocolates, bring your lace,
Okay.
and bring everything that speaks of Belgium with you when you join us on Wednesday. We begin at 12 noon, just about this time of day, and the whole trip lasts 2 hours. So
I
we're
think
going to be seeing some AI art on Gavistoise,
need
and then obviously go to Grand Place.
I will need an animation or an avatar rather of Hercule Poirot, who is
Oh,
Belgian,
really?
by the way, not French.
Good part.
And Belgian. Yes.
Definitely. That's a really good idea, actually. Okay, so the other big thing that is happening this week, apart from our little season finale, is of course the AMV International. This is this wonderful music idea that Kat and Cliff have had. And they've got, I think it's 8 different musicians. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 8. And each one gets 30 minutes to sing. And the idea is that they try and sing songs that are specific to their nationality. So they have João Frazão, for example, singing Portuguese stuff, and then somebody else is doing English songs, and somebody else is doing songs from Brazil. It's kind of it's a mix-up. It's the first time they've done it, so I think it's going to be a fun event. It starts at 10 a.m. and it finishes around 2. So yeah, it's something that's fun to do and to sort of think about what a big international multilingual multi-language community that we have here in opensim. And finally, on that same note, if you will, just a reminder that we have the Hypergrid International Expo coming up in about I guess 7 weeks from now. And you can, even if you're not participating as a speaker during the event, you can participate by getting one of these publicity booths. You take it, you transform it with all your different textures, add a few freebies, add a few information items, landmarks, stuff like that. Maybe a slideshow, but please not with 60 slides in it, as somebody handed me one today. Maybe it's kind of 10 or 15 slides, but not 60. Anyway, you just fix it all up. Doesn't matter who you are, which grid you have. They're all welcome, and we will add it to the Expo Park. You just give it back to Thirza in Craft World, possibly. And you can pick up a copy over there on Craft Grid at HIE Welcome Sim. Pretty easy to find, and the instructions are all inside the booth. So really, that sums it all up for this week. And if you have a special event, something that is a brand new project, perhaps you have a very special party happening, an art opening, or you teacher class or something else like that coming up on your grid, you can let us know, and we'll be very happy to include it here on Hypergrid Happenings.
Well, there we go. The latest what's ons, etc., and the what's nots from Thirza Ember. While we're at it on the middle screen here, I'm sure James can maneuver a camera to it. I've just got the standard coming soon for the Hypergrid International Expo too. This is just a general advert with the date on it. You want to might take down, separate from the March deadline, which is a couple of weeks away that Thirza gave you. During that, yes, whatever. Okay, so where are we going to go next? Looking back, really, at this point, we just, as mentioned, this Wednesdays. I was about to say thing me. What am I talking about? A safari. This safari this Wednesday is actually going to be the last of the current season. Though there'll be a break of what is it, about 4-6 weeks or something for the next one. It's
yeah, we start at the end of April. Yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So it's about 6 weeks, something like that.
It's about 6 weeks.
Okay.
Right.
So I do have some film of it, but I don't think what we'll do is we'll just look back at Thurza's blog post for the week. The first place we went was a Paragon. The virtue of paragons is the highlight here, and these are Thurza's stills from that. So I'll leave it to Thurza here to just tell us what's who's who, basically. I can never remember, and all the rest of it.
So this is our lovely guest that we have here today. We have Huga and Gabe.
I'm so sorry. This I meant to leave till we got Huga and Gabe on. Right, I've got this. This is what I actually wanted. Is the first stop this week, which is cornflakes on Neverworld. I'm very sorry. I really goofed there. This is one we showed you. I showed you a picture of last week when they were on the show, and when I went this week. Pardon my croaking, it's as bad as my mistakes everywhere. I do actually have some film of this, but these are the pictures that Thurza took. So we'll start that one again. First stop of this week is there.
Yeah, I think you guys who were on the trip, James and Mel, you'll agree that we're really beginning to be just totally amazed every year. Cornflakes Week, that means a lot of creativity. It's very much an open sim thing. It's not sort of connected to any real world events, so it kind of doesn't exclude anybody. If you don't celebrate Thanksgiving or Christmas, or you do celebrate something completely different that other people don't even have in their country, this is a way that everybody can just be the same. We're all the same. We're all in this virtual world. And so we were kind of getting into Cornflakes Week, which of course we talked about last week, the origins of it. And yeah, here we are kind of getting into spirit of things. That's Jessica Pixel in the back. There's Cherry, of course. Cherry always comes up with something cool. And there she is. And that's her little companion that she made for Cornflakes 2 years ago, of course. So this is just everybody getting ready to go. It's always fun at the clubhouse at the beginning, a bit of chaos and a bit of fun, and then off we went to Neverworld Grid, where Delirium's Teardrop, who is just fantastic DJ, she was on hand to place the tunes, and I don't know what you guys were expecting, but it was phenomenal. The whole thing was just such an amazing light show.
A visual treat, yeah.
Yeah, real taking full advantage.
And then, yeah, and at the beginning was kind of just generally fantastic, and then gradually became more and more specific to the safari as the giraffes showed up and the jeep and everything. Mm-hmm. They put so much hard work into it. It was just lovely. I thought it was great fun. And there she is, Deliriums. And yes, the few gifts kind of capture a little bit of the first experience on that sim, but then, boy, did it take off.
Yeah, quite a good turnout there of people. pardon my cough. Good turnout of actual avatars as opposed to animation, I think, there as well. Okay.
It's Neverworld Grid. It's not. It's known as a builder's grid more than anything. Most people are there because there's a lot of free land and they go there to build. But they do actually have a pretty good community spirit and lots of events happening. So it's definitely one to check out if you're looking for parties and a bit of community spirit. And that's the UFO spinning around the whole area which they had dedicated to it. Never
It's
Plaza.
funny. I when I found out, I actually teleported onto it and stood on it, but it didn't move for me.
Oh, really?
I moved on it, you know. That's you know, I was dancing, but I don't know, very odd anyway.
That's weird.
Yeah, great fun. Yeah, all these little things thrown in, and so much light and color.
Yeah, it just got more and more, didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's more psychedelic than cornflake, actually. But I mean, you know, all that primary color as well is.
Yeah, but don't you think that's part of the point, that everybody celebrates? You know, they take the idea and then they carry it off in whatever direction they want.
Yep.
You know?
Oh yeah, sure, very much so. Yeah, exactly. It's good to actually be on a grid where what's happening is not obvious or the same as something else. You know, more variety,
Exactly.
as we say.
And this picture shows a guy who decided to wear a toilet. Don't ask me why,
Oh,
but
gosh.
I had to get a picture of it.
I've just
Yes.
realised.
There's a whole conversation happening in chat about the usefulness of that particular item when you're out hypergridding. So
It brings a new
yeah.
meaning to going up to somebody and saying, "Are you flush?"
Absolutely. Anyway, it was a really fun event, and hopefully next year even more grids will participate. I guess we were 5 grids this year, and we've been much more than that in past years. Hopefully the spirit will be catching, and you'll get lots of. After all, it's a whole week. You can celebrate any day you want in the sort of arc of that week. So there's lots of opportunities to celebrate.
And this being near the end is where the giraffes turned up, of course. Very familiar animal is the giraffe, isn't it?
I think that James tried to sit on those giraffes and failed. Am I right?
That's correct. Not sittable.
A failed sit.
Mhm.
Good grief.
It happens.
Failed.
Something you can't sit on. This is tragic.
Yep.
The state of the world. I don't know. Okay, well, the next stop was also to do with the. I don't know. Where's it gone? There we are. Okay. Yes.
There it is.
The next stop was cornflakes in bloom. About time too. Blooming slow. Right. Now we've looked at this an awful lot. We've had little compositions she's done on the show here on video, and this is, I think, the 3rd visit so far has been to Bloom Space. I should add that the name of the avatar that does this interactive movie is Bloom. She used to have another name, was it Catula Arts or something? And she changed her name. So she's changed her name, which is where the title Cornflakes in Bloom comes from, I imagine. Anyway, Thirza, Cornflakes in Bloom, eh?
Yeah, I think Winx is a cartoon from the TV, and the main character is called Bloom. And so I guess that's where Cutie Lala's used that name. She's like a princess in the story. So yeah, there's a whole backstory to it. Yes. So this is this is
a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is. You're absolutely right. I think this was our 3rd visit, but worth it because every time she gets some new music. You know, it's incredible to see all the instruments moving, and it's just such an appropriate place to be doing. Cornflakes type event, and any excuse to go over to Winxtropia, I will take it every time. So yeah, it was a fun event.
Yeah, and of course dressed up with polka dots for cornflakes.
Yeah,
Yes,
The little circle there, and the sky had polka dots.
This is good to see Jay's back to normal this week because, of course, last week he colorized our show for us, didn't he?
Yep.
In the wonderful costume last week. Especially for cornflakes, as it were. All right, there she is again. Yeah, the Winx saga. That's it's a 8-part series or something. I think I've got live action as opposed to cartoons. Yeah,
Yeah, so she has also this tool, which of course we were talking about last week, about cameras and settings for filming in World, and Qt has got a HUD and a whole set of ways to set up your camera. So this is me trying it out with my alien avatar. She's got.
Oh.
You see the red object? It's like a camera. So yeah, she gave it to me. I guess it's a freebie, because of course Kutyalala makes most of the, not most of them, but a huge amount of, especially the early fun fairs that you see in opensim. That's mostly scripted by her, and so she's a brilliant scripter. So she's got a bunch of freebies. It's not really always all that obvious how to get them. You kind of have to go and find her and ask her for them, because she doesn't exactly have a store, but she does have a lot of really nice things that she's made over the years. And whenever you see one, grab it, because who knows the next time you'll find it.
Yeah, some of her films that she's posted herself, as it were, do show the HUD that she controls a lot of the music with too, which is kind of fascinating in itself, because obviously it's just film of the visitor's eye, so to speak. Oh, and all those cats, you know. Meow, meow. It's not quite the noise they make, but basically this goes with music, and well, you can imagine.
Yeah, they're much more in tune than we are with them.
Yeah, it's like a symphony orchestra where they play together and then do solos and things.
Fantastic.
Interesting. There it
Yeah,
is.
this GIF is actually better than some of the film I got, because you can see all the things moving.
Yes, it's very it was very big with the capture. I did 2 sets. In fact, I might show a little bit of one where I captured some of the music too. But usually when I'm coming around, I set the audio to a camera position as opposed to avatar position. And that seemed to be the absolute wrong thing to do here. It was all geared to where the avatar was standing. So my audio was going all over the place. But nevertheless, it's great fun there.
Well, it was a great way to celebrate this year. I really enjoyed it. This is just pointing out that while she's she's actually playing the instruments. So she can't talk to you while she's playing, because it's a live performance. It isn't just recorded music. And then I don't know if you can really make it out in that photo. Yeah, that's her keyboard. She's got a copy of the keyboard that she brings in World, so that she can stand and dance. And there, of course, is Nara and Nia.
You can't really see the keys, but
I couldn't get a good shot of it. It's quite tricky to
It's
photograph.
a fun contraption, is what I would say. Actually, everything is a contraption unless it's identifiable.
So yeah, just to remind people that Cornflakes Week, the idea is that you celebrate the last 7 days of February every year, and you just get silly. And if you have these multicolored objects, grab them. And there's James.
I was just going to
dancing
say
with an alien.
That is James.
On a very strange.
He was playing around on that
instrument is that? I couldn't figure it out.
That's the bass.
They were pulling this thing in and everything, and James was more or less. I don't know if you're actually sitting on it, but you seem to be anchored to it.
I'm sitting and dancing. That's right. Yeah, and that's the bass instrument. So if you listen to the bass line, the Blue Man Group is moving the pipe as to make the noise for the bass.
All right, this is a little bit of film. I'm just going to give you a hint of it. I'm not going to play 12 minutes of it, but I did record a bit of the sound on this, which gives you a little bit of a feel as to the sound of her instrument. As you can see, as I move the camera, the sound goes in and out a bit, which is... oh, it's a special effect department, isn't it?
Yeah, that gives an idea of it. And of course, if you'd like to see, the full video of Cute playing, just go to Girl on a Quest. That's her handle in YouTube, and you can watch a bunch of videos that she's made. Obviously, it's not ideal when there's so many people there because we bring our own lag with us. So if you want to see the whole thing, and she's got a bunch of songs up already and loads more to come. She told me loads and loads, for which she will be building specific sims, so that they'll be the look of the correct look to go with the song. But of course, this sim will not be taken down, but there'll be much more over there soon.
Great, and can't wait to see all that. Okay, well, I better put that one on pause. And yeah, well, that's it for the safari. I mean, 2 stops, of course, but both fantastically colourful, party-like events for Cornflake. And let's hope that our midweek journey this week, the end of season one, will be just as lively. Maybe not quite so colourful, but you can't have everything, can you? Right. Okay. Where to next? I'm going to load. Don't need the other Safari stuff. Oh, I did have a couple of things here. Where one of them. Right. I found a couple of. There's a grid out there called Big City Life. I don't think we've ever been there, have we, Thurza, on Safari?
No, I have been there, but we haven't taken the safari there yet. No.
They had a little clip up here, which I'm just going to show because we always like to show new stuff or whatever. This is simply, they've got one which is about 8 minutes of a railway line, which, well, what you said, well, I'll show you a bit of it, but not all of it. There they are. And yeah, get a bit of interface up there to start with. But basically, it's, yeah, it's 5.5 minutes of showing their railway going. It basically follows the perimeter of whatever region this is. I presume it's a, don't know if it's a main region or just a special railway region, but I was fascinated by vehicles like this. Sort of, in this case, they're following the track, I suspect, rather than any script, but rather hoping to find a vehicle that will host a band on the back of it for HIE later. Anyway, but the one I was going to show you is an obvious promo, and this is the same grid, Big City Live. It's just all about their concerts, basically. Very much the virtual mimicking of a real world concert, you know, with today's giant screens, side of the stage, and everything. I think that is real. I think it's real footage on the screens. I'm not quite sure. When I first saw this, I thought it was one of my own clips because whoever did the camera work here, it's just like me fiddling around trying to get a lot in quickly. It's funny when you got them somebody on the stage, you know, their lips don't move, but they're miming into the microphone, but there were no vocals, which is odd. Anyway, so that's a bit of PR really for Big City Life Grid. Maybe we will get round to visiting them next season or something. So there do seem to be quite a lot of people, avatars anyway, at whatever gig they were filming there. So presumably it's quite a popular. I don't know about Grid, but certainly whatever venue that was. Okay, well, I'm now going to click on another video, and this is a video I filmed yesterday morning with various bits of this strange grid called Barefoot Dreaming. Indeed. Barefoot Dreamers. Let's get it right. So I'd like to welcome back on the seats here on the couch. We have Huga. Welcome, Huga, again.
Thank you.
And welcome again to Gabe Collingwood.
Thank you.
Right. Now, I'm going to set this film playing in the background. It's completely silent, of course. So James sort of mixes and matches the video behind us with us talking, basically. But it is playing. It's obviously got a still frame intro to it. Tell us about the grid, basically. We did come and visit you a few weeks ago. In fact, so after this, we got some film of that. We were most impressed by the huge Paragon Park, isn't it? The huge fairground and everything. This clip I started with, by the way, has you, both of you, and a couple of other people, the dream team you call yourselves. So this was the landing area. I will say in advance, you notice I'm panning into the teleporter, and there's a region there called Serenity Falls, which I'm afraid, despite our best attempts on 3 separate occasions, I couldn't get into. And in fact, on a later occasion, I couldn't even get in this morning to ones I got into yesterday morning. So we think there's a few bugs going around, not just there, actually all over the hypergrid at the moment. Tell us about the grid, guys. When did you start it? And especially with a name like that, what were your sort of intentions for it?
The name came from the original founder, who has since passed. It was a dream and a vision of hers for many years to have her own opensim grid. Then, for whatever reason, she abandoned it. The other co-owner wasn't sticking around because they both came in together to do the grid. I was in the back behind the scenes, and it was pretty much thrown into our laps if we wanted it. I had many hours of support and help from a dear friend, Joe Builder, who helped get us to fit the name to what our vision was for Barefoot Dreamers. Joe and I worked several months, almost 24/7 to make it what it became. Then 4 years later, I switched over to a dream grid, with help of Joe and Ferd, and we've been dream grid for 4.5 years now.
Oh, right. Okay. So I was Dream Grid too for a while. Well, I still got it offline, but I'm not running it at the moment. Oh, that's great. How big is it actually? When I was wondering, it's a silly question now. We're not talking about the size of the grid, but some of these actual parcels and things. It was very difficult to gauge while I was floating around, from camera. It seemed like a few of them were 4. I couldn't work out whether like 4x4 VAR regions, or whether they're all individual regions.
There's maybe 35 individual regions. The rest are variable from 3 to 5. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So yes, most of the shots I took here, because I knew I already had film at the fairground, this was a sort of adjacent bit that I was able to camera over to. And when you see something coming up on the film that you want to mention, do tell us.
Well, where you're showing right now is Rose Island. It actually is a real place, just like Paragon. There was a movie based on there's a story to the island, and people wanted to separate from wherever they were at. I don't remember the whole story, but they became an island, and it was just a party. You got there by boat or helicopter. There was no other way to it. They lived on this little rock, and it was just a lot of party people.
Yeah.
It has since been demolished for safety reasons.
Oh,
They ended up closing it. And after seeing the movie, I decided I was going to make an outdoor venue and call it Rose Island and be on an island.
That's the barn right there you're showing now, where we have our country sets at.
yes, the whole
Yeah.
season. Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
year, I redo the welcome area. And this year, if you happen to have panned out, our welcome area is the shape of a barefoot.
Oh,
Yep.
right. Actually, there may be a countdown shot, although I didn't notice that actually. So we'll just have to hope. I usually start or end these, general muck around camera jobs with a long shot of everything I
This
can
is
get.
our DJ area, entertainment area.
Right. I saw some. This had like a rather. Yeah, it did. It had a rather so complex laddering system around it, didn't it?
Yes.
I remember it. Yeah, I've seen some of those before. They're great fun. You climb up and twist around and stuff on top of an old cave or something. And did you have the one with? I think you probably. Well, I think I've seen it often in open. Not that often, but it's like a sunken boat attached to a rock that has been made into a club. I don't know whether you had something similar.
We have the sunken boat, but
Yeah.
it's not the club one.
Ah.
That's kind of hard to find, but we do have the sunken boat.
So, Thirza, any of your personal questions here?
Yeah, I absolutely love I love the idea that you were able to continue a grid that already existed, that the grid didn't sort of fall off into oblivion just because the people who were involved in it no longer are with us or able or in a position to continue it. So it's great that you were able to do that. And I really think, again, it's a great testament to the spirit of opensim that you were able to get some really quality help, because of course Joe Builders really he knows what he's doing, and so had to have his help. That must have made you feel much more confident that you could pull it off as grid owners. And do you have a lot of members in the grid? Is it a big family, or do you keep it quite restricted as far as residents is concerned? Oh, there you can see the foot.
Yeah.
Just for a moment, you could see the foot shape there.
There
Yes,
you go.
there we are.
Yeah.
There it is.
There
Yeah.
you go. I see toes.
Yep.
Now, I had the vision of the barefoot, but Rain Egan actually cut out and did the terraforming for the barefoot, so she gets the credit for that one. And that's our baby Paragon.
Yeah, this is about where I ended the first bit from the other day, but then I've got the other one. This film, I got about 8 minutes of this.
Yes.
Eight
So I
seconds.
was asking you before. I was asking you before about residents. Do you have a big family of residents, or
We
or
have
do you keep it
about
quite small and select?
27 renters.
Wow.
We're kind of small. We're still like infancy, because grids come and go, and I guess people are hesitant to go to a new grid because they're not knowing if they're going to be here tomorrow or next year. We've been here. It'll be 5 years in October that the Barefoot Dreamers name. We took it over 4.5. So we have renters. We have a small knit group of people that work well together, and they come in on their time. Most of our renters are creators or performers who take and come over here and just kind of de-stress, unwind, which is what the grid is for. And they stay here, and then they go back to performing or their creative side, and then they come back after they finish their build and wind down. So it's It's growing, but we're growing slowly, which is good.
We have some residents though that have been with us quite a while, like Flash.
Yeah, Flash has been with us since the very, very beginning.
And the girls, they've been there quite a while.
Yeah, we have 3 little French women who are here. They're very creative. They've had safaris. Their region was our very first safari, and that's how I met Thirza.
Okay.
On Aiko's land.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Mhm.
Yeko Catnap, of course.
Yes.
Yes,
Yep.
the old friend from Virtual Dreams and even Franco Grid. Yeah, she's a super lady, very creative. Yes, that's right, Huggabug. That's the first time we met.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was forgetting that we'd already been to your grid. I was thinking, well, no, the Paragon Park was the first time, but no, in reality, it was the second time we'd been to you
The
guys.
second time,
Yeah,
yes.
I was sure it
Yeah.
was something because I was sure I knew that the name resonated with me, as I said.
Yeah, you were right, Mal. Absolutely. No, and I love the way you guys have got this idea to try and recreate a piece of history. In this case, such an unusual piece of history, because most people would think, well, there has to be a castle or some kind of monument that has a sort of political or cultural sort of serious history. But this is fantastic because it's a piece of people's childhood that you've decided to try and recreate and capture. And what could be a better choice than that? I think it's just wonderful.
A lot of
And how
this.
many?
Go ahead.
No, you please tell us about it.
I was just gonna say, Joe and I built this from pictures from my times going. I lived 2 blocks from this park when I was small, and we went there on a daily for a daily afternoon stroll down the beach, down the boardwalk, and then on the weekends in the summertime, our cousins would come, and then we'd all go to the park. So it means a lot. And when I saw other people, what they were creating, I said, I want to bring Paragon here, but I didn't know how. So Joe and I pulled out pictures and sent them, and we started working, and we worked hard and long hours, and it is almost identical to the pictures, but in virtual form.
Where is it? Where is it? Where or was it? I should say.
Where was it? Nantasket Beach in Hull, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. It's had a feeling when I was looking at this. I don't know why. It might be probably just my sense of Americana, but I was thinking of Atlantic City when I saw this.
Yeah, there's the boardwalk. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was very similar to the original Atlantic City with the boardwalk on the beach. Yes.
Yeah.
It's the same ocean anyway. That's for sure.
Yes, the Atlantic.
That's right.
Yeah, forget the West. I noticed you've also got an awful lot of boats that are not surrounding this and all the other bits and stuff. And I wondered, how many of your residents are actually in boats, or I should call them yachts, really. Some of them are pretty majestic.
Actually, the residents donated the yachts for the ambiance to give it the water look. I don't actually own the yachts. They are residents and they're locked down, so you have to talk to them about how to get a hold of it.
Yeah. Well, it just means there's something else, wherever you're standing, you're looking out into that blank, ocean we all know in second, well, generally, but there's something off the coast, and that's
yes,
up a little bit,
I had a question for you guys. So obviously we're already committed to Barefoot Dreamers Grid before you became the owners. So I was just curious what you consider the benefits and maybe the drawbacks are to being having your own grid as opposed to belonging to maybe one of the bigger grids, like I don't know, say OS Grid or Craft Grid or Kitely or something like that. What do you find is the advantages or maybe also the downside to having your own place, your own grid?
What drew it to me was the challenge.
Yep. I think you have more control over it not being so huge.
It's to me, it's more personable than to
Yeah.
belonging to another grid, which we have. We were with a grid before that had closed, but we were all very well close knit. And then it's when you want to do a build or something, you have to get permission and stuff, which is understandable. But I wanted the freedom to create something without having to wait for an answer, to challenge myself to see if I could do it. I had the love and support, and it is what it is today.
Yeah, that's a really good answer. And then it's so nice too because you have all the advantages of the community thanks to hypergridding, but then you have all the advantages to being in your own place. And
Right.
so,
Yes.
so you have your independence, but you also have the community just there at the touch of a button, like as you have today, jumped over here to OS Grid to join us. And that really is the genius part of the hypergrid experience, I think. I don't know if you agree with that.
I love opensim. I remember when you had to go to the depot and get on the train to teleport.
I remember the first time you showed me that.
That when I came to opensim from Second Life, I stayed here. I've been here since 2011, and I've never gone back.
She brought me over here kicking and screaming. I've been in Second Life's. I just celebrated 18 years in November.
Wow.
In Second Life, so she got me to come over here. I fussed and complained about stuff, and for a while, but settled in.
What was your biggest objections, Gabe? What were your biggest
Oh,
doubts about it?
that's easy. I'm not a creator. I don't create anything. I don't build anything. I love to shop, so I missed the ease of going over here and getting clothes I liked, and there's a lot more work trying to finding places to shop and get clothes that I liked. But that was the big shock for me originally coming over here from SL. But after 18
And
years,
did
almost.
yeah, you mean in 18 years you never learned to build a little bit? Come on, tell me you've learned since you've been here.
Well,
I don't believe it.
I know things. Huga always
What does
says,
that mean?
He can build a
The
box.
first thing I learned,
yeah,
I remember the first thing.
Wow, box, really?
Made a door by making two prims and a gap in the middle. Yeah.
And also
And
very sad.
I was so pleased with myself, and it was actually ages later that I realised I could make the same thing with just one prim and the hollowing out tool.
yeah.
So it wasn't as fantastic as I had thought it was, but we all learned somewhere, even elementary.
What I love about opensim is when I came here, I wanted to learn, and I'm like a sponge. And people were willing to help and share their knowledge. And if it wasn't for the friends and the people that I've met along the way for the many years I've been here, Barefoot Dreamers would not be this and continue to grow because I
Yeah.
would have no idea. But I had a lot of friends and a lot of help. They're willing to in Second Life. They just didn't want to tell you how to make the box. I came here and they were telling me how to twist the poor thing till it screamed.
Can I just mention
the mangling?
Would it be okay if I just told you something that I just read that might be some fantastic news for you guys?
Sure.
We were talking about Bloom Peter, who under the name Cutie Olala artist made so many wonderful funfair parks for opensim. Well, she is actually watching you guys right now. She's watching the show and she's talking in chat over on YouTube, and she's just said if you'd like some help, she'd be happy to give you some scripts to help you out. I know you have
Oh,
some of the
wow.
rides that aren't working yet. So there's an offer. And she
Oh,
also makes a couple of
Bloom
nice
is
points here.
wonderful. She
That's
has helped
great.
me.
Yeah.
She helped me way in the beginning, and I love her work.
Yeah.
And yes, I will take her up on the offer. It's just a matter of syncing our times that we can get together. But yes,
Absolutely.
I would love your help,
So
Bloom.
you guys could, yeah, you guys have to connect again. And she just
Yes.
makes two really interesting points about owning your own grid. She says the advantage is the performance, the huge speed increase, and the ability to set your own settings and
Mhm.
restart a sim or back it up whenever you want to.
Yes.
And the downside is can be expensive.
Yes. As we found out recently. Yeah.
I'd like to add a lot of grids in opensim. They have their owners, but they have tech people that do all their work for them. I have to
Right.
give Huga kudos. She does all the server work herself and manages the
Wow.
grid. Yes.
Yeah.
We don't have tech people that come and take care of things, and she does all of that.
But I have help
Wow,
when I get
congratulations.
stuck. I do.
Well, yeah, if you get
I
stuck.
have very good mentors, and Ferd has helped us when
Yeah.
recently we were down for 3 months. We had an asset issue, a server broke, and maybe 8 renters, but for the most part, everybody stuck with us, which really touched our hearts because this was their
a
home.
tough time. That was a tough time. Yeah.
But we are up fully functioning and trying to get things as some of the rides in Paragon up to the new scripting so that they run even smoother.
I'd like to say something about there is love in the opensim. I mean, on Inworld, I met Huga Inworld. It was on another grid that's not around anymore, but I met her Inworld, and then we got together in real life, and we've been together almost 9 years now.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's lovely.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I always like the romantic story. That's lovely.
Yeah. But we love the grid. You got your full control of what you do, and we keep things simple, drama free. And a lot of people come, they go, there's not a bunch of people scurrying about or making a mess.
That used to be the old problem with Second Life, didn't it?
Yeah.
Beefers, weird people who just weird stuff. I'll never forget
we don't bother our residents. We tell them we don't come to your land unless you have a problem and we need to come there. We don't bother anybody. Once you get moved in and settled in, we just leave you alone.
Wonderful.
And everybody
Yeah,
likes that.
I mean that is the beauty of opensim, that if there are problems you could just make it so that you don't, everybody could just live in peace. So you don't have to be in everybody else's pockets. And if somebody has a different lifestyle or different choices or opinions that you can't get along with them,
I love this bit with all the skeletons playing cards.
Oh yeah,
it reminds me different. Of course, I used to have some of those old dog posters. They're all playing.
Oh yeah.
Famous. I think I've still got them somewhere, but a decorator ruined them with paint. But it reminds me of that. Just superimpose animals, or in your case, skeletons. In an otherwise rather normal scene, distinctly strange.
Yeah.
I think they gave up on Oak Island.
I'm on replay here, so you can see the footprint again.
Huga often refers to me as the schmoozer. I'll love to talk. If somebody comes to the grid, help them out, help get them set up, show them where to go or how to get somewhere. And so she goes, you're just a big schmoozer. You like to talk and visit.
James, need to get round to James here. You got any questions or thoughts about Barefoot Dreamers? No.
I don't have a particular question, but I'm always curious about what motivates people to do this. I mean, we're so much of what we're doing is a lot of work, and so what is the sense of fulfillment that we get? I've heard a lot of people say it's working with people and it's having people who are thankful for the service or recognize the work that's being done. But I wonder if there's any other motivation, the history of the park or things like that.
My motivation personally was to I had to relearn a lot of the technical stuff. From surviving a really bad wreck, I lost a lot of memory, so I had to relearn and retrain myself
Oh,
to
interesting.
be able to work this and get to where I want to be and make it work. That's the challenge that I had from it. But once I got in it, things started coming back. Then I get stumped and I'd have to ask for help. But me, it was a personal challenge to bring myself into the virtual world to test myself.
Oh, how
Huga
cool! Like
Huga has a
healing.
great Huga
Yeah.
has a great passion for this. That's what keeps us going.
Oh, excellent.
And just a comment from the YouTube chat. First of all, Tina says that she is very happy. She says, "I love Barefoot. It is my home." And then we also have another comment from Bloom, and she just points out. Oh, by the way, Tina being Alex, I should say.
We love
and
her.
the other thing I should.
Yes.
Yeah, what a sweetheart
She is also our daughter in World too. She is our daughter.
Oh my goodness, that's
Alex's, yeah.
lovely. And the other thing that Bloom has just made the comment, which I think everybody could agree with in a way, it says lack of friends and loneliness is my strongest pusher motivation to make things, to bring people to me.
Oh, wow.
That's true. Making beautiful places, and of course that's what brought us to see you guys,
Right.
because you made these wonderful places.
I think
And I have one more to say before I finish, and that's Farstar. He says the main motivation is the same as humans who are residents. It enhances and complements your real life, and it's true, isn't it? As you've just said, it's
Yes.
bridges the gap.
I think something in opensim the way creativity and social gel in a very different way from something like Second Life, which of course is the closed grid anyway. Here, you can be a creator, you can be on your own for as much as you want, and you can then finish creating something and then stand back and admire it or something, and then invite people to come and share it. So you can really divide your time between the social thing and maybe the sense of privacy you might need for the creative stages. And you rarely get that in Second Life. Anywhere you might be sort of building, somebody's going to come and interrupt you. Not even a griefer, just somebody who doesn't give you just wants to talk while you want to work. So there's a nice balance in Second Life of that. Sorry, in opensim. Don't get me wrong.
It's very gratifying.
It's fun too being on the grid, our grid, and having people come over. And one of the first things I do is look to see, where did they come from to come visit us? It's interesting to see where they came from and what grids, and they come visit. You get to meet a lot of new people.
It's true. Even now,
being that you guys are quite old. I was going to just say that you guys are old bees in a way. In opensim, so 2011. That's only 3 years when OS Grid was started. So I'm just curious to hear what you think about the use of social media, how social media has helped gel opensim, and maybe there's a downside too. But the way that we can use places like Facebook or opensim World or Discord, as we're on right now, all these different sources, how that helps bring the community together in a way that we didn't have so much before when there was less emphasis on social media.
It helps get the word out.
You think it's important for you guys?
I think Facebook was the biggest push for us, because we had a lot of friends on Facebook that were in virtual worlds, and migrated towards opensim. Some stay, some don't. And I think it gives them the opportunity to be able to enjoy both
Yep.
opensim and Second Life for, say, an event or a build that somebody built. It's I think it's a good tool to use. I like it better than Discord because you can reach more people at the same time.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, it certainly does help to people always deplore, there could be the downside, obviously, of social media where
Right.
people say a bunch of mean things and pointless stuff. But of course, it does really make it possible. There really is no way in world for you to know what's happening on all different grids, and so it's very easy to miss stuff. So yeah, I think it's a good help used in the right way, of course.
Yes, yes, I agree.
Now I have, of course, we've all seen things like that abused also, but not too often, thank goodness. But
Yeah, generally speaking, people are pretty good. Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
Oh, I see Mal is walking the boardwalk. Uh-oh, where are you
Yeah,
going, Mal?
this is very unusual to see my name tag showing and me on camera.
he's out for a stroll.
There was some reason it ended up like this, and I don't know whether we ever showed this before. We don't normally show much of the longer clips on this show because we haven't got time unless it's with our guests. So appropriate, really. And but it's always a good way. I'm sure all our fellow Safaristas or whatever we call them, and they all like seeing themselves on screen, so they're getting a real handful here if they got their eyes cued, Nara and Nick a minute ago, and there's Tina, Tina Bay, wasn't it? And actually having name tags on is quite useful. Use that person.
Yeah.
A Thirza Ember from Neverworld. Yeah, there we are. So a lot of the regulars here, and there you are, Gabe, actually, as well, and Star,
Yep.
of course, Kelsey. Yeah, like a bug. Yeah, you're all there. You're all there.
So I guess the question is, because in a minute Mal will be saying that we have to wrap up, but I do have one more question. I'd really like to know what plans do you have for the future? What's on the horizon for Barefoot Dreamers Grid?
As in respect builds, I haven't yet come up with another idea, but you never know when they hit. They come out of nowhere, and then it's like get the paper, draw it out, take it from there. My biggest thing is to get Paragon up to date on scripts and have things running smoothly. That's my number one thing. And if somebody had an idea that they maybe wanted to work on, then we might even just do that.
We do have Alex, and I'll refer to her as her sister, the one that built the caves. We have asked both of them to do some creative work for us, but I'm not exactly sure what it is yet. Do you? Did we settle on something?
They no, I don't know yet.
We gave them the land. And
Oh,
we're
that's
just
exciting! Wow,
yes, it's
that's
going to be
exciting.
a surprise. Yeah, because they're both such great builders. Yeah.
Yeah, we were so amazed by that build. It was wonderful. With the dragons and so forth. Yeah,
they
really
did
great.
an amazing job.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Yeah. We'll have to dig that up on our. Actually, we'll probably have a. Well, near the end of the year, usually we look back at all the visits we've made on the safari seasons and stuff, and do a sort of best of, if you like. We pick half the places we've gone to, and that dragon one was probably. Actually, it was this. I don't know whether it's this year. It probably won't count, but yeah.
I just loved how much fun everybody seemed to have. Some people, when Thirza said it was time to go from Paragon, they're like, I don't want to leave yet. They're having a great time.
Yeah, that's a great thing, though. We love to leave with people feeling that there's still more to see, because then the idea is then they'll come back.
And they have.
It's no good.
And they have.
It's no good to you guys if we just visit one time and you never see us again. What's the point of that?
That's right.
You want to make it so that people want to come back. It's always that's the hardest thing, I think, for most hosts to kind of come to terms with that idea that they don't have to show us everything. In
Yeah.
fact, if they don't show us everything, that's a good thing, because
Right.
then we're curious to see what we missed.
Well, hopefully
So,
by the next time we'll have something new to show you.
Yeah, like that. What's
yeah,
round the corner
definitely.
can wait for another day, you know. Yeah.
Exactly.
But yes, and a very different thing too. I mean, you know, when you're taking, we all know the obstacles of taking. You know, if we've got a big safari, maybe 20 avatars or something, you start. You know, even the best grids start to struggle unless they, you know, some of them can cope with 50 on a region easily, but others.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
We had up to 30 at Paragon. That
Yeah.
worked pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's you know, what the safari experience is wonderful because it's a club, it's a, you know, social sort of thing, but it does have its drawbacks. Whereas, you know, there's certainly a lot of places we visited that just demand you go back because, you know, if you really want to explore and go off on your own, for example, in a nice biggish build or something, you can only really do that when you go by yourself, and you hope that
Right.
it won't be too laggy because it'll be fairly empty, and you won't feel obliged to follow the crowd. I mean, when I'm on safari, I'm usually in the sky, camera speaking, filming.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, and I lose track of what the conversation on the ground is
Oh, yeah.
half the time, and then I come down and I think, oh, what conversation I missed here, you know. So you know, it's that trade-off thing, you know. When you're filming, you can move away from the people and get smooth stuff. But on the other hand, you know, you want to come down and hear what's being said. So, you know, swings and roundabouts, really. But you know, it's sort of safari. I suppose, would you agree, says the safari really, in some ways, we think of it as a bit like you know, obviously it's a social club, but it's also a bit like a teaser, isn't it?
Yes.
We're
Yes.
Well, I
teasing.
would hope so. Yeah, I would hope so. And I would also hope another thing that people don't think of it as a club that is in any way exclusive,
Oh no,
because
no,
you don't have to know anybody who's there. Everybody will welcome you. We're happy to have anybody come along. And if you come along once or you come along 100 times, you know, you're still, you know, you're part of the team as far as we're concerned. So it's always nice to see new people because then they have a different perspective quite often. And then, of course, we have the blog where we kind of try and give a roundup of what people said, the silly things we say, and of course, on the more serious side, the history of as of course, Huga gave a fantastic explanation of the park and everything in the post that was about Paragon. And the same, of course, with Alex talking about the Dragon Place. So you know, she explaining, because you do miss a lot if you go to a place and it's perfect. There's no lag at all, but there's nobody there, and there's nobody to give you any context, and there's nobody to say, "Oh, how long did it take you to make this?" You know, those are the kind of the backstory. Is sometimes it just enriches so much the
yeah,
build. It just takes it to a different level. So then it's fun to go back on your own when there's no lag and you already now you know the story, and then you can enjoy the build by yourself or with a friend. And so,
yeah.
yes, multiple visits. I'm a
Yes.
fan.
Yeah.
It reminds
I
me of
love
the
the
other.
safari. I like the way that you guys attack it, and to
Yep.
see other people's grids and builds really helps, you know, get your creativity going. Like, how did they do that?
It was very exciting to have you guys come over and then to see all the people they came with. That was
Yeah.
something for me.
And when you look, as I say, I'm often filming a lot and don't see what's going on in chat. But also, when you do look at chat, you know, you're not just seeing lots of people enjoying the same thing, but they have different attitudes or different kind of questions if the hosts are there
Right.
and things.
Right.
Right.
You know, we went to the Priory place, Priory place, a few weeks ago. When I first saw that, you know, I went a bit ahead to film it, and I thought, you know, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. You know, well, there's 2 minutes of film. That's it, which visually was true. But when we were actually given an explanation of what it was a rebuild of things, and you know, or the intrigue of you know behind the build and stuff, and the fact it was very old, so it was done very early on when things were a bit more primitive. I would never guessed all that stuff had we not taken the safari in there and we were told about that, you know. If I was visiting
Exactly.
normally, I'd have been in and out, and I think, well, that was fine, but make a note of it as a possible film set.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. That's exactly right.
yeah, so sometimes it is the safari and the mix of people asking questions and the hosts and stuff that really enrich the experience to, like we said earlier, just urge you to come back, and explore at your leisure. So the best of both worlds. Can you imagine doing a safari in somewhere like Second Life?
Oh my goodness. Where would you start?
You wouldn't move, and you wouldn't know where to go, and everybody would be,
Yeah,
everybody will be busy arguing with each other instead.
it'd be a mess.
Exactly. Unless it was a popular shop, then nobody would
Right.
talk. They just buy. But yeah, very different experience indeed. But yeah. Well, normally at about this time, James will make a very big noise because it's the Pink Floyd and a load of bells.
Oh, good, Mel.
Basically,
Good.
basically, yes. Oh no, we're on time actually. So you haven't got any excuse to do it.
Does he have a big gong like the Gong Show?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
Well, now you have to play it. You have to show them what it's like now, James. Go on. We're ready. We're
All
braced.
right.
It's a Pink Floyd extract.
Oh,
It gets attention.
okay. Sounds like a piece out of a Pink Floyd.
It is. Yep.
Yes. Oh, is it? Okay.
Exactly.
It's time. It's called Time. I
Right.
believe.
Exactly.
Right.
Classic song covered by a lot of
Yes.
people these days too, strangely enough. Right. Well, I think we will wrap up there. Actually, we didn't actually have any slide pictures, did we? In the end, so that was we didn't miss
No.
anything there. We'll be back. We'll be back to see you in the near future, I hope, and probably have you back on this show at some point too.
Yeah,
So
We'd love to have you.
yeah. So, in closing, I'd like to thank our guests from Barefoot Dreamers, which you can find, by the way, at barefootdreamers.com. Yeah,
Yes.
there's a website there. So, yeah, and that's the login barefootdreamers.com 8002 is obviously the hypergrid link too. So, thank you to Huga Bug. Okay, and thank you to Gabe Collingwood.
Thank you.
Thank you for having
It's
us.
been a great experience being on the show.
Great. Okay, we're glad you've been able to make it too. So that's great. Okay. Well, before we wrap, I'd also like to thank on my right James Atlloud for sitting and pressing buttons and
Yeah, sure thing.
not twiddling and the usual.
Yep,
Thank
I
you,
love
James.
the show, and thank you for bringing us together, Mel.
Right, lovely. And thank you, of course, to my wonderful co-host, Thirza Ember, for doing
Another
just
great show. Hey, yeah, no cheekiness. Eh? I'm
you want
supposed to tell you that you have a new nickname, Mal. I
Oh.
just have to tell you this. Yeah, apparently your nickname is now the Hat. Just the Hat.
That.
So, all right.
Okay.
And thank you so
Well,
much for doing the show as always.
I don't know. Could be worse things than being called the Hat. So
Yes, you're right.
it's farewell from me and farewell from the Hat. You know what,
Yeah, yeah.
what we could ask for. The Hat, indeed. It's a bit like the Edge, or something else like that. Yeah. What was the old-fashioned one back in the 50s television show? It was another character which is called the something. You have slick back, rocker type hair. You must know who I mean. I don't
We were all too young, Mal. We don't
know. No, I don't.
I'm not too young for that.
It was 80s or something like that, but it was. I don't know. He was very famous, and he was just known as the dude kind of thing. Right. Okay.
We'll do some research and we'll tell everybody next week what it was.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Right. So, yes. So, thanks to James, and of course, thanks as ever to the Hat, without whom there would not be. This is a good way to end, isn't it? Thanks, everybody, including the Hat. Okay. I'm going to wish you all a very good morning, a very good afternoon, a very good evening, and indeed a good tomorrow, depending on wherever and whenever you are. And we're out of here.